Welcome to another episode of Health Your Way podcast, where we discuss health issues ranging from physical, mental, emotional, as well as current facts. Today, we're going to be discovering what a functional medicine health coach can do for you. And please allow me to introduce my guest today, Jen Lendaris. She's the founder of Own Your Own Health Movement, nationally board certified functional medicine health coach. She's also very inspired by her personal health journey to equip women to take an active role in their health to prevent and reverse chronic illness. So Jen, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Mo.
I really want to have a conversation with you because I've heard of the word functional medicine, but I don't really know what it is. How does it differ from conventional medicine?
Yeah, I think it's a very common question, so I love that you ask it. Conventional medicine is really designed to treat acute illness.
Okay.
And what ends up happening is a lot of people that don't have acute illness, they have an illness that's been going on for a long time, or also known as chronic illness. The symptoms are being treated and not really, getting to the root cause of it. So that's where functional medicine differs, is it takes the best of conventional medicine, but it really tries to identify what the root cause is of your illness and then treat that. So it's more about preventative instead of waiting until you're sick and then treating the symptoms of you being sick.
Okay, I like that. I guess then the functional medicine, I think I understood what. So then how does functional medicine help improve one's health? And is it really evidence-based? Like a lot of people say, okay, conventional medicine is based on evidence and based on some kind of research. Is functional medicine the same? And can you really help someone like me in the future or anybody watching or listening?
Yes, no, I mean, and it should be, and it is. It's everything that functional medicine does is based on the science-based approach. So there's, studies being done and outcomes. And so really when you look at what functional medicine does, you're looking at known chronic illness. And let's take a popular one, like type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
Well, that's a spectrum of an illness, for example, correct?
Okay.
So some people are pre-diabetic, some people have really, out of control blood sugar. So where functional medicine can help, it can intervene at any of those spots, but let's take the pre-diabetic. We're going to prevent that. We're going to figure out what's going on, why they are diabetic, and usually with some lifestyle modifications and some other things, we're going to prevent it from getting to where it's full-blown diabetes. And so that's where the science-based is, because we're able to track those measurable outcomes.
I like that. That's good to know, because I think a lot of people that maybe watching or listening are like, okay, is this another so-called thing? But it's nice that you're telling us that it's based on evidence, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think, I did some research on this, and I found that there's functional medicine and functional practitioner and a health coach. I'm confused. So please educate me. Okay.
Yeah, no, well, typically someone that would have a functional medicine practitioner designation is already some type of licensed practitioner, whether it be a physician's assistant, a nurse practitioner, an MD. So what they're doing is, they're diagnosing and treating the patient, but with this additional perspective. So think of specialty medicine with this perspective that our goal is to not treat a symptom. You come in here with blood sugar, we're not just going to treat the high blood sugar. We're going to treat you as a whole person, get to the root cause of what's going on with your overall health so that you don't develop additional illnesses, and we can prevent and reverse what is going on if we can reverse it. So now where the health coach comes in is that we don't diagnose or prescribe, but what often happens is that even with a functional medicine practitioner, you go in there, you're given a lot of information, some potential outcomes, what would be ideal for you to achieve. And then there's no really roadmap of how to achieve it. So the functional medicine health coach is that gap. It bridges that gap in communication. We work alongside you to guide you through all the steps possible for the behavior change necessary and needed to be able to reverse your high blood sugar or stress management. And there's a bunch of different pillars of wellness that we use to be able to do this effectively.
I get it. Is it fair to say that functional medicine is more like an holistic approach, like looking at the person as a whole? So as you mentioned. Okay.
Yes, it's a holistic approach that we are looking at the person as a whole, but it also isn't afraid to use a prescription medicine though.
Oh, I see.
So that would be the difference of when you're looking at alternative medicine, holistic medicine, conventional medicine. What functional medicine does, actually, it takes the best of all of those.
Okay.
And what would serve the individual the best, and it integrates it with in mind that we are going to treat the root cause. So we're not going to make something get worse. We're actually going to, or put a Band-Aid on it so that, it looks like we're better for temporary reasons, but then usually it manifests itself later on. No, we're really treating it at the root, fixing it. And so we're, making it so that the progress isn't worse in your whatever illness it is that you have.
That makes a lot of sense. So basically, you're not saying no to conventional or no to holistic, but you're just finding that one process, like a piece of that, whatever benefits that specific person you're helping. Okay, I like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. It's very
So
individualized.
I think for anyone that's watching or listening, like, do you need to have a specific health problem before you can actually seek out a functional medicine health coach?
No, and that's, and that is because we hear the word medicine attached to it.
Yeah.
So really what I am accredited to do, people could think of life coach, general health coach, whatnot. And so I can help anyone. We're basically behavior change specialists. But with the added benefit that we understand the paradigm of functional medicine. And so if there happens to be an illness going on, that we can partner with you alone and even make the lifestyle modifications to start helping your health outcomes. But then if you need to go to a practitioner, we are then part of also your overall healthcare team. And so we can set you up with what are the best questions to ask when you go to your provider. What should you expect? What, it's okay to, empower you to be an advocate for your own health.
That makes sense, because I find that a lot of people that as we get older, they don't know what to ask. They don't know what to look for. But if you have someone that's saying, okay, you're not crazy, you maybe need to look, like, at least help that guide you. And I think that's one of the benefits, maybe having a functional medicine health coach. Like, I think there are some information, not a lot, but if somebody was interested in, looking for a functional medicine health coach, what are your suggestions to where to start? What kind of criteria? Should they be even certified? Because some people are not certified, right?
Right. So there's actually, so I know that you're in Canada, I'm in the US, but so
Yes.
they're here in the US, but I know other people in other countries that do it. So the National Board of Medical Examiners, who give physicians their MD designation, they realize that there is this subset of what they call health coaches that can provide a certain quality of healthcare that as long as you're not diagnosing and prescribing, but everything else that actually has a positive impact on health outcomes. So what they did in 2017 was they created a nonprofit called the National Board of Health and Wellness Coaches to then accreditate certain programs that if you went and got a certification in their programs, you can get experience and then sit for a board. So I have that national designation, which is nationally board certified health and wellness coach. That's where that comes in. Now, within those designation or those transition programs to be able to apply it for the boards, there at the time that I got my functional medicine certification, there was only one program, which is called the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. Now there's two. The other one's called ADAPT, and that's actually by a very well-known doctor called Chris Kresser. And so really what you're looking for is someone with either the ADAPT or the FMCA functional medicine certification, and ideally, additionally, a national board certification as well.
Okay.
I know that's a long answer to your question, but when you look at credentials, like you said, there's probably about over 200,000 people that can call themselves a health and wellness coach, and maybe 10% of those would be qualified for what I just said, basically, if you kind of think of it that way.
Okay, that summarizes it. And I guess to further summarize, for a lot of people that may be searching, depending on what country you are, if you're listening, and
sure.
If it's not certified, they don't have that kind of board, you basically want to make sure that whoever you reach out to has an idea of what they're doing, has some form of knowledge.
Absolutely.
I can call myself a medicine health coach and I don't even know, but you want to do your credential.
Right, yeah. So, it's really the approach. I always say for the first thing that you want to look for with someone, are you going to have the rapport with that person that you're going to think that's going to be a good fit for you? But when we are talking about health, we want to know, do you have a good knowledge of the healthcare system itself, so that you can help that person navigate through it? Do you have, we don't need to be an expert in every disease state, but do we have an understanding in the approach that a functional medicine practitioner would take, even a conventional medicine doctor, and the pros and benefits of that to help, equip that person to be able to go and advocate for themselves once they are in the office. Those are kind of like the main things that you would look for. And then their personal passion. For me personally, for one of the things, and you talked about thinking that you're crazy, when you go to the doctor and you're like, no, nothing's wrong with you. It took 10 years for me to get a diagnosis of endometriosis, because with all of my symptoms, every doctor I went to, this is how I spent my 20s, was going to doctor, with all of them saying, it's just being part of a woman. There's nothing wrong with you. And I ended up getting diagnosed with severe endometriosis. And I actually have a full hysterectomy as a complication of it. So I wasn't crazy, but I thought for all those years, I started thinking, wow, am I just a big baby? Can I just not handle being a woman? But then finally to get that diagnosis was just so affirming that, you got to trust your gut. And so that's part of my passion of why I do what I do. I don't want anyone to experience 10 years waiting to get a diagnosis, which ultimately then did lead into me developing other illnesses that I had to figure out how to manage as well.
I'm sorry to hear. I guess, it's true. Like, if you can't speak for yourself, get someone that can speak for you. And you stated that, they need to understand the system. Like whoever's listening, wherever country you are, that person that you're seeking out, they need to understand the system, conventional or holistic. They just need to have some form of knowledge. Yes. I think if anybody is in the States, or maybe they're seeking out information about the specific topic itself, what's the best platform to reach out to you?
Yeah, so I'm actually really excited about this. I have my personal website, and right now I am in transition of building another online learning platform for both the health seekers, so the person that's really wanting to level up their health knowledge, as well as for other health coaches, for my designation to ramp them up and support them in their business efforts so that we could reach more people. So if you go to www.virtualcoachinglab.com, you'll just see a simple landing page there. You can put in your email and you'll get, notified into when the launch is going to happen. But there's also a tab that says, if you visit my old site, and that brings me to my private practice site as well. So that's really, really exciting. I'm so excited for that. Yeah, and that will serve anybody. It doesn't matter where you are. I have clients in Canada, the UK, Ireland. I have clients everywhere, and that's why I have my practice virtually, so I'm not limited to who I can serve.
So is it fair to say that's what sets you apart, or whenever, besides?
Yeah, there are other virtual health coaches, but I feel what's really special about what I'm doing is I'm making it virtual so that anybody can, have access to me. I'm not just a health coach, but I do specialize in this functional medicine area as well, and specifically with chronic illness. So for example, I know other functional medicine health coaches, and they don't even specialize in in chronic illness. So, but that's my specialty because that's my personal story, and what I've had to live with. And so what I'm trying to do is create platforms for people that, depending on if you're just needing stress management, because stress is a top leader into chronic illness if not treated. It can be as simple as that, all the way to the person in the continuum that you do have an illness and you do need that support. In my past life also, I did work in the pharmaceutical industry, and I worked with thousands of doctors in specialty situations, hospital environment, and primary care. So I deeply understand even the pain points for physicians. Physicians didn't create the medical system to, so I always try and, give them some grace there too. And just to have everyone understand what your illness is, what healthcare is out there for you, what might be best for you. And if we need to find some loopholes to be able to navigate it to work for you, we explore that together.
I like that. And I guess in the past few minutes that we've been together, or even 20 minutes, I've learned a lot. I appreciate it. I didn't understand what functional medicine is. It's nice to know there's a difference and what you can offer. I want to say thank you for being part of this podcast. Is there any last words
This
you
is
have
great.
before? I know it was great. I sat there going,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Really what hit me the most was the fact that, some people, you may need that sidekick, that person that, saying, okay, you're not crazy. And it's really nice to have someone that understands the whole entire healthcare system, so it helps you navigate. And that was what I got from this. I think as we get older, and then with the baby boomers getting aging, a lot of them are going to need that kind of assistance to a certain extent, or even people that just like what you experienced, 10 years going through like, you need that person saying, okay, you're not crazy. This is what we need to figure out. This is what I know. This is how the system works. Let's come up with a game plan when we talk to your doctor.
Absolutely. Yep. And that, I mean, you just nailed it perfectly. Everything
Yeah, listened.
Everything that we do is client-centered. So we're not telling you what to do. We're figuring out where you are and where you need to go, and we're equipping you with the tools to be able to do it. So ultimately, every client that comes to me, my goal is actually for you to not need me, because that's what I want to provide you with, the value, so that you know how to do it yourself.
Perfect. You don't handicap them, and that's really good.
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
I like that. That's really what, like, I really believe that. I believe that knowledge is power, and keeping it's really a little selfish, and a lot of people do need that information. And when they have that knowledge, you empower them to, get better, and they share that knowledge. It's just better wellness for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, with that said, yes, thank you. I feel like I kept you too long. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. This is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today on our weekly episode of Health Your Way podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share with others, and please feel free to comment below and ask any questions on topics we discussed, as well as future topics you'd like to hear about. Have a happy and healthy week, and be sure to tune in next week for the next episode on a Health Your Way podcast.